Welcome to the Voice Coach Podcast, here for all your speaking voice training and guidance. My name is Nic Redman, and I am offering you all sorts of nuggets of wisdom on how to keep your voice in good working order and a true representation of who you are. So if you're a podcaster, presenter, actor, speaker, or voiceover artist, or a general voice geek, you're in good hands. Shall we get started? Oh, hi there. You join me as I finish the treat from my advent calendar, reach over the cheese to grab my Bailey's cocktail, wipe the turkey grease from my chin for this episode on how to reduce reflux during the festive season. Hurrah! I mean, if you don't get reflux at some point during the holidays, did you even do it right? This episode, I'm going to offer some insights into how reflux can affect your voice all year round, in fairness, not just Christmas. Also, what can cause reflux and how you can prevent the effects of it as much as possible when you, well, quite honestly, just want to indulge a bit because, you deserve it, as we all do every now and again. So we're talking about what's called laryngopharyngeal reflux here, henceforth known as LPR, laryngopharyngeal reflux. Or sometimes silent reflux because it's a cheeky wee fecker and often doesn't come with the usual heartburny indigestion type symptoms that you can feel with standard day-to-day reflux. Now, how do you know you've got it? Well, it can be tough to diagnose, to be honest, and you tend to need a wee scope with that snazzy camera up through your nose and down into your throat to see your vocal folds. But a few things can be a bit of a tell. So if you have a dry nighttime cough that maybe interrupts you getting to sleep, or a general persistent cough in the day too, sometimes morning mucus is another sign, or persistent throat clearing, or that feeling like you've got a lump in your throat all the time. Those are a few things that can potentially point to the fact that you may have an issue with LPR. It can also be a factor in vocal fatigue and things like feeling, well, if you just get a much more effortful overall feeling when you try to voice. So what to do? Well, sorry to be the bearer of long-term pain in the arse news, but it's sort of a whole life assessment, to be honest. Like, you've got to make sure your diet isn't full of ingredients that exacerbate reflux for you, for example. So keeping a food diary is useful, and anytime you feel some of those symptoms I mentioned, just checking in on what you've eaten and seeing if there's any trends. Also, checking in on any medication that you're on in case there are side effects that might include reflux of some kind. But here's a few other specific tips that you can explore that'll be a little bit useful around the festive period or any other parties where food is involved. So try to eat early if you can. That's tip 1. And I know that's tough when, well, maybe this is just me, but when it's Christmas, I can't seem to pass the fridge without sticking my hand in for a wee something. Basically stopping any food intake from about 3 to 4 hours before you go to bed will help a lot. So that's me telling myself, keep my hands out of the fridge. The other thing you can use to manage reflux when you know it may be happening is what's called alginates. Now, this is a medication that's the best thing, it turns out, for managing LPR, i.e. the reflux that affects the voice. It comes in the form of a syrup, like a kind of minging syrup. It doesn't taste very nice, but it forms a layer over the contents of your stomach. Here in the UK, a lot of us voice users have a pretty codependent relationship with a massive bottle of Gaviscon Advanced. Shout out to anybody who's got that in their bathroom, and just have a wee swig after you've eaten so it layers up over the food that you've eaten in your tummy, and a wee bit more maybe before you go to bed. So alginates, have a little look and see wherever you are in the world what you can get that comes in that form. You can get 1-a-day tablets called protein pump inhibitors, PPI it's often shortened to, but they aren't quite as useful for LPR specifically as people may have first thought. If you'd like some of the research on that, check out the brilliant Tor Spence at VoiceFit, who I actually spoke to in episode 74 of this podcast. I think we touched upon reflux briefly then. So there we go. We've got eat early, alginates. The next tip is, and this is where it gets very exciting, especially for the person you share your life with, raise your bed. What a fun treat for the person who has to be in the bed with you. It doesn't have to be the whole bed, in fairness. You could just get some kind of wedged pillow or, Princess and the Pea style multiple stacked pillows affair to raise you up from the waist upwards. The idea is that you're literally using gravity to make it harder for the acids to kind of creep up your insides so it can do that damage. So other useful pointers for managing reflux and or stopping it completely would be, well, number one, you guessed it, staying hydrated. Always a winner. Also, reducing stress and anxiety in your life, which can exacerbate reflux for some people. Not quite so easy over Christmas, is it? Well, we can give it a go. And the other thing is rest. Lovely, lovely rest. Look after yourself, essentially. Now, I hope that's useful. And I hope that means you can, still be reaching for the cheese anytime you want to, if cheese is part of your diet. Now, the other thing I just want to say is if you feel like you'll be ready for a kick up the voice arse come January next year, then make sure you get a spot booked on the next run of my masterclasses for after the holidays. So that's right, dear listener, join me for Vocally Free for 2023. Oh yes, it rhymes. I'm so proud of that title. I'm also proud of the content, obviously, and what it's going to be. Basically, I'll be live for 3 sessions over 3 days from the 11th to the 13th of January to inspire you, guide you, and, well, basically annoy you until you take your voice care and training routine by the short and curlies, as my dad would say, and give it a good old jiggle, or create it from scratch, so that you're sailing into all your speaking and recording and presenting next year with ease, confidence, and freedom. If you did Know It, Own It, Speak It last year, it's the same format, but with different content. I'm dead excited. What a great way to start the year. And I love having something in my diary, do you know what I mean, to look forward to. And that's sort of what I wanted to do with this. So you can sit here now in December and go, right, I'll just bloody book it, and then it's there for me in January on the 11th, the 12th and the 13th, and we're done. And you can be proud of yourself for taking responsibility and holding yourself accountable. Well done. It's only £17. It's live sessions with me, and then on the third day I'll do a massive Q&A and a wee bit of live coaching in that session too, so you could get to work with me as well if you've got a particular issue or something you'd like me to work through. And I'm also doing a wee downloadable voice guide called 23 for 23. Yeah, I'm really going all in on the numbers, which is 23 voice tips for your 2023. So it's going to be all the crack. If you haven't worked with me before, it'll be a great insight into how it all works. If you have, well, welcome back. Where have you been? Pull up a pew and a drink. And if you're thinking about doing the Vocal Empowerment Programme next year, which will be running in January, then this again is a great wee preview as to what it will be like. So check out the link in the show notes to book your place. I'm so excited. Can't wait to see you there. For now though, Merry Crimbo, Merry Crimbles, or unmerry feck off, I don't celebrate it, leave me alone. Whatever you do with the next few weeks, I hope you're happy and healthy. And if you're listening in the future and it's not Christmas, I'm really sorry. I hope you're well. All right. See you on the other side. I'm off to, honestly, have another Baileys. Bye for now. Thanks for listening to the Voice Coach podcast. For even more support with your speaking voice, head on over to our free community, the Voice and Accent Hub on Facebook. See you in there.